Three guys who combined to play 15 seasons in the National Football League trenches. Well, two guys. And Mackey, who didn't do shit. This is the O-Line Committee.
Oh, saw someone sneaking a little sip of something there.
Here we go, boys.
Oh,
Are we back?
You
know what happened?
Oh, he's back, the monster.
He said, I'm done. I'm done. I don't need those anymore. What number
That lasted a long time.
What number is that for the day?
This one?
Yep.
This is number one. Promise.
Oh, I don't know.
Got a baseball game tonight.
At least number two.
I got a baseball game tonight. I plan on having two more later. It's going to be epic. First game of the year.
I can see Booney just stone cold Steve Austining 2 monster cans,
just
pouring them
going
all over
crazy,
his head.
dude. West Tonka. It's going down tonight. I cannot wait. Cannot wait. It's fucking epic.
Oh,
We
my
made
God.
it, boys. It's draft week.
It is draft week.
It's that
made
week.
it.
Yes. So, couple
Do you have
things
the
here.
pick is in? Do you have the pick is in
Do it.
soundbar? You
What
got to
a
have.
dumb question.
I knew. Yeah, the pick is in,
I
baby.
love it.
Don't make me light up the purple daily button bar here. I'll give you one little taste because you mentioned wanting to do. We're gonna do for our big boy question of the show here. It started off as, where are all the quarterbacks gonna land? And then Jeremiah's like, can we just do like a full mock draft?
Do the full thing.
Can we just do a full?
Yeah, but only
are
with
s-
offensive players. I don't give a shit about defensive players.
No,
besides
no,
my
no.
one that's going to go in the third. Other
So
than
32 teams, 32 offensive players in the
Yeah,
first round.
yeah.
We'll see where it goes. But a milestone moment here on the show here today. We have a brand new sponsor. Welcome Aura to the podcast, gentlemen. The O-Line Committee is all about protection and security, not just of quarterbacks, but protecting our listeners against data brokers who sell your information, scammers and spammers on the internet. You ever put your name into a Google search? Don't put Alex's name into it.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
if you're looking for a good time, just search the images.
Don't.
It's kind of
Fuck you,
unsettling.
Sirles.
This is where Aura comes in, okay? The sponsor of today's podcast. Aura shows you which data brokers are selling your information and automatically opts you out of requests. As you saw on your screen here on the YouTube channel, AT&T recently revealed that over 73 million customer records, both existing and former customers, were released on the dark web recently. They recommend all of those affected use strong passwords, monitor account activity. Well, Aura does all of this for you and even has parental controls. And as you can see, we're offering a free trial here. Aura.com/O-Line Committee. Aura.com/O-Line Committee for your free 2-week trial. You can help us out also by signing up for the free trial. So if you're ever wondering, how can I help the O-Line Committee grow as a show? You can go to Aura.com/O-Line Committee and start your free 2-week trial. Extremely easy to set up and very affordable even after your free 2-week trial. So it's also linked in the description below on the YouTube channel. So yeah, help us out and help yourselves and your families by going to Aura.com/O-Line Committee. Welcome to the show.
I've listened to thousands of podcasts and always heard the reads and always been like, I wonder what it'd be like to be a part of one of those. Now I have been. Milestone moment.
There it is.
Milestone moment. Put it in the trophy case behind
We'll get you
me here.
more involved as we
Yeah,
go
we will.
here. I just
We'll
wanted
ask
to
you
make
more
sure
questions.
Yeah.
I feel like you didn't know what to do. You were just kind of like, yeah, all right, cool.
You didn't know what you didn't say anything either.
Oh, I'm looking up a couple things, and I've been a part of reads before where you just sit back and you're like, okay, just let this go. The problem is sometimes like you'll sit back and not pay attention, and they'll ask you a question, and then they'll be like, never mind, and you're like, I didn't know that was a real question for me. Should have told me, stupid.
You ever put your name into a Google search? Oh, I have. Alex, shut up. I'm doing the read now.
Don't do that.
Just mute Alex while you read.
You should.
So, okay, here's the big boy question of the week. This is a question for you guys here. It's not a rhetorical question. Okay, we are 2 days before the draft here. Where do you think each of the top 6 quarterbacks is going to wind up? There's all these smoke screens, all these rumors.
So, by the way,
Let's go
who's
on the
6?
record here.
So we got
it's
Caleb, Drake,
Daniels,
Jayden, JJ,
Jay,
Bo,
Penix,
and
and
Penix. Okay.
Unless you want to get weird and put Spencer Rattler above one of those guys.
No. Come on.
You've been diving too deep into the
Seriously,
quarterbacks,
dude.
man.
How much have you been reading from PFF?
Austin Reed from Western Kentucky.
He's not bad. He's got a cannon.
If you look at his numbers against pressure,
I swear, if I hear someone tell me Joe Milton, I'm gonna throw myself off a bridge.
Stop it. Okay.
He'll throw
So
that
obviously,
over the
number one, We know who's going number one.
We can all agree Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams is going number one.
Okay.
2,
real quick,
for me,
just on Caleb for a second. I agree. He's going number one.
We all know.
Did you guys find it interesting that so he came in for his Bears visit, and ordinarily you'd just go and meet at a steakhouse with the suits, right? Ryan Poles and the coaching staff. Well, they sent Caleb Williams out with some of the team leaders. Is that because, hey, we're drafting him, you guys better figure out how to work together, or is it put one more sniff test out before we officially make ours?
No, I think they're solid.
This is
they're
dude.
Official.
Right,
Yeah.
this is the dude. Exchange numbers, start texting. We'll leak him the playbook. Right, like.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's that was start to build a rapport right now because, like it or not, boys, he's QB1 going into next year, right? And I think that the debate's over. There was like, are they traded? Like as soon as the pick is in, it shouldn't take longer than 30 seconds for them to announce that Caleb Williams is going to be a Chicago Bear. Right?
Dude, he might even take the cue card out with him.
Yeah. And
Like
the draft
literally,
is
like
now
welcome
officially-
everyone. Yeah.
The Chicago Bears are on the clock. Flips cue card. And with the first pick in the NFL draft. Can we also talk about there's no reason to have 10 minutes for a pick?
Well,
Like,
that's absolutely
it's for
absolutely
entertainment,
insane.
theater,
Oh
time
my God.
filling,
Dude,
right?
I was looking at something like this. So the Bills have the 28th pick, right, in the first round. And I was looking at something that said, like, historically in the last 3 years, the 28th pick has been at like 11:30 Eastern time.
Yeah.
Like it's just it goes
It's so long.
forever. It's the first round takes way too long. Just everyone.
we
knows-
need
everyone
Remember
knows-
when it
10
was
minutes
15
to-
though? Remember when it was 15 minutes? That was when I was coming out, and I was like, God, this is taking and then they were like, let's speed it up. Let's go to 10. And they were like, oh, this can be great. No. It's still, everybody's like, let's push it all the way to the end. And you just see the clock drifting all the way down. You're like, Jesus, who didn't realize who they're getting? My God.
Yeah,
Bengals.
and part of it's like we need 10 minutes to talk about each franchise. Do we need 10 minutes to talk about the Jaguars? All due respect. Like, do we need
Nope, we
the
don't.
Browns at this point? I don't think we need 10
Easy with the
minutes.
Browns shit, okay? Easy,
Ohio
Mackey.
guy. I'm from Ohio.
Easy.
sensitive.
Insecure Midwestern time.
Insecure Midwestern. Well,
We're just fly. We're just
I'm
flying
fine.
for a country. Just
So, yeah.
who cares about us?
So
Okay.
I think
Caleb
All right.
Williams.
Caleb.
Williams.
Number 2.
I'm gonna go with Drake May number 2.
Ooh,
Yep.
that's where we
I'm
differ.
going Drake May number 2 to
To
Washington
the-
Commanders.
Okay.
I think
keep
it's
the pick.
Jayden Daniels. I think it's
So
definitely
the betting sites have all said, the markets have said Jayden Daniels is still the favorite. It's sort of changed. I told our Purple Daily guys this morning, I changed my opinion about this morning or like this weekend. Because here's what this is, and tell me if I'm off on this, but the Commanders got torched last week for doing the bring everyone in. We're going to bring everyone in. We're going to bring 4 quarterbacks in. We're going to go to Top Golf, and we're going to do the alpha test, basically. Put a bunch of guys in a room. And we're going to see if anyone gets weird or gets in their feelings or insecure. And then the next day, Jayden Daniels' agent gets all Twitter fingery, and he starts liking the posts from like Pro Football Talk and some other places that are saying, what are the Commanders thinking? The Commanders are out of their minds. Why would they do this, right? And he's putting out emojis and stuff. And so it felt like Jayden Daniels and his agent had a problem with, well, why are we not just the number 2 pick? Why do we have to interact? Why do I have to interact with Michael Penix? This is dumb. I saw Drake May on a podcast with Kevin Clark yesterday. And Kevin Clark asked him, hey, what did you think about the group outing? You were invited. You guys went to Top Golf. And Drake May said with a big smile, oh, I loved it. It was amazing. I got to meet some of these other great quarterbacks and got to connect with some of these other great players. And it was so much better than going to a steakhouse and sitting down with the general manager. I love being around all the guys. It felt like that draft day moment where you find out why the quarterback, like no one came to his birthday party for me. Like, why is Jayden Daniels getting all upset about this? So
I mean, yeah, and to
I'm
be
with
fair,
you.
To be fair, a lot of teams do that. Like
Yeah.
a lot of teams pick a weekend and say, this is our 30 visit weekend. Right? Because it's a lot easier than logistically trying to be like, well, we need to bring in this guy this time and this time, this like I know, for example, the Bengals do their 30 visit on the last day that you can do 30 visits, because then they don't have to deal with flying them somewhere else, right? Because, I mean, for example, my defensive tackle this year, he had 15 30 visits, right? And he had 6 more teams that wanted to bring him in, but we just ran out of time. And so, like, it was a constant evolving schedule, right? Like, you'd schedule, okay, hey, you're going to Buffalo this weekend. and then you'd have like the back end of that week open, and then all of a sudden he'd be like, okay, where's he flying to after the visit? You'd be like, well, I don't know yet. Hold on, right? And then you'd call him like 4 days later and be like, oh, hey, by the way, now he's flying to Baltimore, and then from Baltimore he's going to Miami. And so like a lot of teams just be like, I don't want to deal with that 100 different times. I'm just going to pick one weekend, and all our 30 visits are coming in on this one weekend. And all the staff will be here, all the coaches will be here. Like, it just logistically makes sense.
Right.
Now, I mean, I think that there's a little bit of the alpha test to it, but I do think it was more just, this is logistically how we want to do things, and this is just how we're going to do it. But it is a bit of a red flag that Daniels got all bent out of shape about it. It's like, dude, you're going to compete no matter where you go. Like, don't look at it as a slight. Look at it as like, yeah, this is just how the NFL is run differently from 32 different organizations.
Yeah. So but Booney, you think it's still maybe Commander? I mean, the Booney's on the right side of what the odds are right now.
I think that eventually they don't really give a shit about any of that, and they're just going to go, hey, listen, we really like this kid. He's a playmaker. He's incredibly talented. Like, I just think that a lot of things right now with Drake Maye are kind of like, listen, he's a good player, great player, but does he have all the skills that we need? And I think that when you're looking at this, you're like, dude, he's the next best player. And I've watched him play, and the dude's phenomenal. And yeah, whatever. Sure. We all take Twitter shit out of control, and we all take what agents say. Like, who cares what an agent says? I'm kidding. But yeah, no, I think Jayden.
Instigator.
Oh, look at you, sensitive. Hit him. Hit him.
Is it sensitive
Mackey.
to hit?
Yeah, of course it is.
You
can't just fine me for something. Especially when you get red. Here we go.
I want to see Jay get some Twitter fingers.
No, I would never.
No.
I can't stand. I mean, there was an agent last year for the Vikings, or 2 years ago. There's like, I'm going to spill everything. Tuesday morning, I'm tired of this. I'm spilling it all. And then like come Tuesday night, or like everyone was waiting, he was like, spoke with my player. It's for the best that I don't say anything. It's like, well, no shit. Don't say anything in the first place. No one cares what you have to say.
Is that?
Anyways.
I think I might know who that is.
Yeah, you know who it is. I'm not going to say it.
Okay, I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it.
I immediately texted that person. I was like, oh, can I know what is that?
Sure
Did you really?
It's great.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Oh, so you know who it is too? Okay.
Yeah,
so we all know.
If
all
anyone
right, so we all
who's
know.
in the Minnesota market knows who it is. But that being said, the only thing that I would maybe go back with Booney on this for, Mac, is when you look at that division and you look, okay, Cowboys, Eagles, like Giants, all of those guys have great pass rushers. And so when you look at Drake Maye's escapability versus Jayden Daniels and going, hey, we play in a division that's got dudes that are going to get home. Right? Like dudes, right? Micah Parsons and everyone down the list. Dexter Lawrence.
Brian Burns just came in, right?
Right. It's like,
I mean, dude,
Kayvon
it's getting worse.
Like, maybe we need a quarterback, and this could be a decision. Like, maybe we need a quarterback that can create and move with his legs. And that's not necessarily Drake Maye's strong suit. He's athletic enough to scramble, but he's not athletic enough to be a threat in the true running game. And I think that could be the difference maker there between Drake Maye and Jayden Daniels.
Not that like college stats are the be all end all, but last year in college, Jayden Daniels was the #1 passer in all of college football, yards per attempt when pressured. He was second PFF grade when pressured. Bo Nix was #1. A lot of tricked up, shorter things there.
Yeah.
LSU too a little bit, but in college, Jayden Daniels has been amazing against pressure with his legs and with his arm. So
I mean, and the thing I also give the nod to Drake Maye for is he wasn't throwing to neighbors. Like, he didn't have a #1 wide receiver on his team that's going to be a top 10 draft pick.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Drake had to create and scheme guys open. I mean, and that's not a knock to Jayden. It's not his fault that he played with great players, right? Just like it wasn't Joey Burrow's fault that he played with Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, right? It's not those guys' fault, but when you look at what Drake Maye did with what he had, that's why I just feel like as far as the NFL style rolls with, I just think that he's a little bit more polished and ready than Jayden Daniels if I was picking #2.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Agreed.
So the show is split on, and that's fine. We can all kind of pick our own path.
Here we go. It's going to get crazy.
Okay. Who's the third quarterback? So for Jay and I, it would be, we've already got Caleb Williams and Drake Maye off the board here.
Yep.
Booney, who would your third quarterback be then? Drake Maye? To who?
Yeah, mine would have to be 3. I don't think that's going to be the Patriots.
I think they stay.
I think they stay. I know there's a lot of talk of them trading off and going back. I think that they're in the perfect time right now, and they go in and they got to be like, listen, we got to find new leadership. You got a new head coach. It's a whole changing of the guard. You got to do something. You have to make a stab at one of the top players right now. And after that, who are you going to trade out with? Like, assuming that the Vikings or the Broncos try to trade up, are you really going to go all the way back to 11 and 12?
It depends what you're getting in the future years.
That's,
like that, and that's the question. With
Or
the
can you
Patriots.
get back up? Can you get back up? After
I mean, you're going to go back just to come back up? Like, you're at three.
The Cardinals. The Cardinals did that last year, right? There's that video of Monty Ossenford just working. He's got 6 phones just working. I mean,
that's how they work.
It's complicated, but you can make it happen that way.
I don't. There's that. There it is. It's going crazy again.
I put a counterweight on it now.
No, I got Drake May going to the Patriots.
You got Drake May. See, I think the Patriots move out of that spot.
Who do they trade with?
I think Elliott Wolf. Is looking at his team, going, "We're not a quarterback away, right? We're not a quarterback away." And he watched what happened to Bailey Zappi and watched what happened to Mac Jones with a rookie quarterback with a poor roster around them, and you're immediately setting the kid up for failure, right? You're not giving him the tools that he's going to need to have success in the NFL as a young quarterback, right? You talk about like Caleb Williams going to the Bears, right? He's got Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet, DJ Moore, right? Like he's got dudes he can throw the football to. Name me the number 1 receiver for the New England Patriots. Like I don't think I can. Like I physically off the top of my head can't think like, oh, that's the guy. Like they have Hunter Henry, who's an old tight end, but he's not a guy you're going to throw the ball to 300 times this year. So I think they know, regardless if they pick a quarterback or not in this year's draft, they're still going to be at the top of the draft order next year. Like, and so for me, I'm looking at either I'm trading out of this pick and taking a king's ransom for it, or I'm taking Marvin Harrison Jr., right? Or I might just take the best player available that is not a quarterback.
Who's their quarterback right now?
Jacoby Brissett.
Right?
So you're saying you think they go
survive the year with Jacoby, get him a weapon, develop that weapon, and then if you got the guy next year, go get the next year. But I think that it's more likely if they're not going to take quarterback, they get a king's ransom and just gather more picks. Right, you take if the Vikings, for example, the Vikings go and they take 3 or they take 11, they take 28. They maybe swap with Atlanta because Atlanta might now have to give up their pick one last final from Kirk Cousins.
That would be wild if that happened. Yeah.
Dude, that would be.
So I don't think New England takes it. I think they trade it. If they trade it,
I agree.
It's probably going to either.
It's got to go to the Vikings.
It's got to go out of the Vikings or the Broncos.
To.
I mean, those are probably the 2 guys that trade to it, and then. They obviously take whoever's Jayden Daniels.
Okay, so say it goes to the Vikings. Say it goes to the Vikings.
Is Daniels. Well, no, pick a path, Jay.
You pick a path.
Booney's got him sticking.
I told you that they're going quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They're going to trade. They're going to trade the pick. They're going to trade the pick to the Vikings, and the Vikings are going to take Jayden Daniels.
Okay. So I think we're in lockstep, kind of. Except here's what I think happens. I think the Patriots trade out. I think it's with the Giants. I think the Giants move up 3 spots. They take Jayden Daniels at 3. I think the Vikings draft board is Drake May number 1. Take Caleb out. I think the Vikings draft board is Drake May number 1. But if the Commanders take Drake May, like you're just kind of stuck, you're screwed. I think they have J.J. McCarthy above Jayden Daniels
for sure.
And so they would then cool as Jeremiah's skin crawls off his body hearing this. So I think it's Giants to 3 to get Jayden Daniels. And I think the Patriots could trade back again from 6. Another team could jump up, get a receiver. Now Patriots move back to maybe they swap with the Jets or something.
Okay, so wait. Now you have the Giants trading from 6 to 3 to take Jayden.
Yep.
Sirles has the Vikings trading up to take Jayden. And I have them taking Drake May.
Yeah, you have the Patriots sticking, right?
Okay. I'm just making sure.
Now all our top 3 quarterbacks are off the board.
Are off the board, correct.
Yep.
So now next quarterback
the Cardinals
off the board.
The Cardinals are on the clock at 4, but is that going to be where the next quarterback?
I think they take Marvin for sure. I think that's a lock.
Yeah,
so now I think the Vikings trade up to 5 with the Chargers.
I agree with that.
And take J.J. McCarthy and don't give up. Maybe they get to keep their 2025 first round pick in this scenario.
I
don't. If you're going from 11 to 5, you're giving up next year's first.
I don't know, dude, because you have 2 this year. You have 2 this year, don't forget, and you're giving them right away. Like, listen, you can have both these right now, and that's where I see that going. Same.
I think if what happens with the rumors, if the Vikings move up to 8, I could see them keeping next year's first. I don't think if you go from 11 to 5, you keep next year's first.
But could you get back, like, could it be a swap? So you're getting their third, or I haven't looked at what their capital is, but
maybe I don't know.
But I think that's more likely.
So then, who does Sirles see the Chargers taking?
Or where's the third quarter? Or where's the third quarterback?
I think the Chargers end up taking Rome Odunze or Mekeel Neighbors, another receiver for Herbert,
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Justin, they need it.
Yeah,
They obviously got rid of it.
They got rid of Keenan Allen, right? The guy they picked last year in the first can only play on the left side of the ball.
Right.
Like they need another dude to throw the football there, and so I think they take
one of the receivers.
One of the
Top
receivers.
receiver.
Okay. So
All right,
where's McCarthy landed?
So now here's where we go.
So now
hold
we're
on.
split, right? So you switch for the Giants, right? So
I was
now
gonna
you're
say,
saying
Mackey,
that
you
New England's
switched.
sitting at 6, right, Mac?
Yeah, but
So who do you got?
I've got New England at 6, but I already have Vikings jumping to 5 to take McCarthy.
Right.
So then if I were to continue on my board here, I would have the Patriots trading back again from 6 to like
12.
Let's
Broncos?
look at teams that could jump
That's
up.
where I was going.
Broncos.
Well, I don't know that a team is trading up to 6 to grab the 5th quarterback. I could see like the Jets going up from 10 to 6 to get the 3rd receiver to make sure they get Rome Odunze in this situation.
But technically, there's only one off the board. Well, yeah, you're right. There's 2 because Marv went off.
Yep.
I guess in my scenario,
But in yours, there's only one.
There'd be 2 left. But I'm saying I could see a team moving up to get a receiver or to get Joe Alt to get a tackle if you want to jump up.
He's going at 7. He's going at 7.
That's why I'd be jumping to 6.
Ooh, that's not a bad idea. Well, who would jump up?
Jets.
Who needs a tackle?
Jets would jump up.
Jets?
So
Jets
I'll
would
just to
jump
make this less confusing as we go, I'll
Yeah,
finish out my
we're all over
quarterbacks.
the map.
I know.
So I've got Caleb, Bears, Maye, Commanders, Daniels to the Giants who jumped up.
Yep.
I've
JJ
got
to the
Maye,
Vikings.
JJ to the Vikings who jumped up.
Yep.
And then that's where it gets kind of weird. I'm going to say Patriots in their trade back take Michael Penix in the like early teens after trading back a couple times. So Patriots take Penix and get a bunch of extra draft capital. Just making notes here. And then Broncos wind up with Bo Nix, and we might have 6 quarterbacks off the board in the first 12 picks. I could see Broncos trading back a little bit too, and maybe still getting Nix.
I see the
Broncos
Broncos.
go
I agree with you on the Broncos, to Bo Nix.
Yes. So that's
Question is,
my
do the
quarterback
Raiders
journey.
Do the Raiders
I
take
was
it?
going to say
Could be.
for me, I think the Raiders trade up if they can.
I think they could
to
be
take
another
Penix,
player.
To
Yeah,
take Penix.
for sure.
Right. I mean, they have. I think Aiden O'Connell was like their guy
Yeah.
last year. Right. Like, I think this is a plant the flag for Tom Telesco and those dudes to say we're going to go get our guy. Right. Like
Yeah.
I got
Antonio
Phillip Rivers,
Pierce.
Right. I got Phillip Rivers in San Diego, and then I went and got Herbert. Like I know who my guy is, and if they're in love with Penix or they're in love with someone that's out of those, I think the Raiders are the ones that would jump up and take Michael Penix. And then I agree with you. I think that Bo Nix then falls to the Broncos at 12, or I could even see
Dude, the
if he
Rams.
keeps falling, I could see Bo Nix going to Indy too.
Yeah.
I could see
really?
the Rams
Well,
jumping.
because think about it, they have Gardner Minshew, right?
Well, no, Anthony Richardson.
no, they have, never
Anthony
mind.
Richardson.
That's,
Yeah.
I keep forgetting that he got hurt so early last year.
No, that's
Never
why
mind.
I
That's a
think the
dumb
next
one.
team that's in
dumb.
contention is technically kind of maybe the Rams, dude. They're gonna need a backup soon.
Yeah,
they're gonna
I
need
mean, because
someone
they
to
lost.
take
That's a
over.
fascinating one, dude.
Yeah, because
And I've heard a lot of
Stafford's getting
talk.
old.
I've heard a lot of talk about them maybe jumping up to come and get one of these quarters, which would make total sense.
They don't have capital to do it though.
I mean,
They-
dude,
they- I don't think
I've
they
heard
have-
crazier shit come out of the NFL. Are you kidding me?
But dude, you got to remember they just got themselves out of cap hell. Like they're kind of feel like they're still in their Super Bowl window. I don't think they're going to want to trade away picks.
The Rams have more capital than you would think because they have 2 third-round picks with the 1 comp pick. So they have a first, a second, and then 2 third-round picks in this year's draft. So they could get weird. You could also one of these quarterbacks could fall into the 2nd round too,
For sure.
Oh yeah,
or
for sure.
2 of them.
I mean, a Will Levis situation,
Yeah.
right?
So Jay, where's McCarthy going then? You filled in all the holes except for your favorite
Come
guy,
on,
JJ McCarthy.
here
It's
we
funny
go.
how you conveniently skipped
Here
to
we
Penix
go.
and Bo Nix,
Does he fall to the second
funny.
round? Do you think
So
he's falling to the second
Jay's
round?
got Caleb to the Bears,
he won't
Maye to the
fall to the
Commanders.
second.
He's got Daniels to the
To
Vikings.
the Vikings.
Penix to the Raiders, Bo Nix to either
the
the Broncos or maybe
So where
maybe
does
Rams.
JJ fall? Do 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 do.
Give me
Giants?
Give me JJ to the Giants.
Give me JJ to the Giants for
I'll
400, Bob.
I'll take JJ to the Giants. I mean,
He's so upset he has to say that.
I don't.
Lady, I want to.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna pivot. I've planted my flag on this. I'm not a JJ believer. I'm not gonna be bullied into it. But I also know that the Giants. I'm not sold they're taking a quarterback, but if they do, it'd be JJ. It'd be JJ.
Okay.
Dude, I kind of am sold that they are.
Because I think Dable sees some comparisons to JJ to Josh Allen, the guy that can run, the big arm. Like, I think Dable sees some of that if you're looking at, hey, I want a quarterback, right? Like, because Dable likes that Josh could run, and he likes to put in those quarterback powers and those quarterback sweeps and those type of things, and JJ can do those things well enough, right? And then also you have Daniel Jones on one more year where JJ doesn't have to come in and be the guy. But I think a lot of this also depends on something that none of us know, which is how far in Daniel Jones' rehab is he? Yeah. Is he on track to be opening day one rolling, or is he not ready and Dable's a little bit on the hot seat of keeping his job? Like, do I need to risk it to go get a guy that I can feel can play over Daniels if he's not healthy?
I can confirm he's definitely not ready,
Well,
regardless of injury.
he did beat the Vikings. He did beat the Vikings in the playoff. He has as many playoff wins as Kirk
I'm
Cousins.
aware.
bro.
I'm aware.
Easy, bro.
I understand.
Playoff
Don't
wins
listen.
Kirk
We
Cousins.
put the Kirk Crusaders to bed. We are not bringing them back out.
They're setting up like the Undertaker.
God, you should have seen them. What did you say about the Vikings? Easy, Falcons fans.
so there-
Easy.
So
There it
then,
is.
and then for Alex to put a bow on this, you got Caleb Bears, you've got Jayden Daniels to the Commanders,
Drake Maye
to the Patriots, you say
Vikings
McCarthy
take
to the
JJ.
Vikings.
I see Bo going to the. I see
Broncos.
Bo going to the Broncos. Yep, and then I see the Raiders taking Penix. Man, I see them jumping up in a big way. I think that they're here to make a splash. Antonio Pierce. I think that
They
that
may
would
not
be-
even have to jump up.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if anything, they can just chill right where they are.
may be able to sit at 13 and get him.
Yeah.
But they need a quarterback. That's for sure. And I'm
Or
not saying anything
40
bad about
something.
Aiden O'Connell, but at some point, you're going to put something crazy out there.
So there we go. I think we just solved it very, very coherently there too. Very clearly what's going to happen on
Clear.
I somehow kept
clear
track
as
of this
mud.
entire thing. I'm not even kidding you. It was actually pretty easy.
Dude, I
Couple
wish I could
trades
show
made.
you guys. I wish I could show you guys what my computer looks like right now. It is completely framed with sticky notes from all the calls and notes that I've had. My brain is just a spider web of crap right now.
I'm so excited. I hope you get a phone call. I do.
I might.
Out of nowhere.
I might. You just never
Here we
know when
go.
they call back. Never know.
All right, boys. Who's your mic for the week? Give me a mic, Jeremiah.
I got one.
My mic is I believe that there's going to be 8+ O linemen that go in the first round this year. I think
Ooh,
that
hold on.
It's such a good tackle draft. There's so many good offensive linemen and such a need for that position across the league. I think that there's 8 O linemen that go in the first round.
8 tackles, or is there a guard
8
or a
O-linemen.
center in there?
I think Troy Fontenot, a guy from Washington, could sneak in there, who's more of a guard, played left tackle for Washington. I think he could sneak in there as one of the top interior guys to come off, right?
There's that Oregon Jackson Powers
Jackson Powers
Johnson could be in
Johnson's
there.
another one that could sneak in late. Centers historically don't go in the first. Tyler Lindenbaum was kind of the outlier 2 years ago.
Garrett
But
Bradbury.
but historically, and especially with, if I'm a team and I'm picking late and I'm going, okay, I have the option between Jackson Powers Johnson, who's the number one center on the board, or I can take a tackle who's a first round talent. You're taking the tackle 10 out of 10 times because there's not enough tackles in the league. You can bump dudes in, right? You can always be like, okay, that didn't work. Let's move you inside. You can't bump dudes out. And there's enough talent in this draft between Joe Alt, Olufushanu, J.C. Latham,
Talise
Fuaga, Mims from
Graham
Georgia, Graham Barton. Like, there's so many good offensive linemen in this top part of this draft. I think it'll be a historic day one for offensive linemen.
And I agree with you. I think Troy Fautanu for sure sneaks in. I actually see him going to Dallas. I think that they could be big players. Absolutely. Like, dude, when you talk about this year's the quarterback class is getting a lot of love, but the one thing that's kind of slipping through is the offensive line class. That, dude, you got some dudes that are some grinders. They move well. Like, watching their film again and starting to dive into next year's film, you're like, where is the Olufushanu? Where's the Troy Fautanu? Like, I'm trying to find all these dudes, and you're like, nah, that ain't it. That ain't it. Like, these dudes are special, man. They are really, really fucking special.
Also,
and when you talk about them, like, being like, this could be a really fun draft, especially for us watching, because it could be a lot of quarterbacks and then linemen taken right after. Like, it's going to be fucking awesome.
Most mocks have like one defensive player in the first 12 picks.
Yeah,
I think you could have 18 to 20 offensive players picked in the first round.
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's super, and a lot of them being linemen.
Here's another question off this crazy offensive lineman batch. How tall are you guys?
6'6.5".
Boone's 6'8". Okay,
yeah.
You're 6'8".
6'8".
These dudes are like 6'8", 321, 6 foot. There's like 4 dudes.
Dude, the kid from Georgia,
6'8", 340. Mims.
That dude is
ridiculous.
Avatar.
Dude, not even kidding.
Built in a test tube.
He walked
not kidding you.
Yeah, he walked by me down at the Shrine Bowl. He came over because they trained right across, and like very few people stopped me in my tracks. And he's like, walk by me, and you just look at him. I mean, arms swing in, and you're just like, yeah, dude, God sculpted you to say you play left tackle.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I built you for this. And I mean, the crazy thing with him though is he only has like 12 career starts in all of college.
Yeah.
8 of which he finished the entire game, either because of injury or because they were just beating the dog shit out of whoever they were playing.
Yikes.
But you can't let a talent like that slip because you never know when you're going to find those dudes again. So I think he sneaks in the first. Graham Barton sneaks into the first. Like, I do think it'll be 8+ offensive linemen. That's my mic. 8+ Thursday night. You'll hear them.
I'm excited, dude. Thursday's going to be so fun.
This whole weekend's going to be a blast.
It's going to be ridiculous. Ridiculous.
So okay, Boone, give us a mic.
All right, my mic. This one, actually, Jay, you might appreciate this. Have you seen the Broncos New Jerseys?
Oh.
Have you seen the throwbacks?
The orange,
Dude,
baby. Bring me back.
Love. Now listen, I'm going to say that, and I'm going to say this. Those other 3 jerseys are dog shit. They are fucking terrible. They are so bad that I was like, dude, is this a high school jersey I'm looking at? Like, there's like literally it's all blue and then like a little patch of orange, and I was like, what are we trying to do here? But the throwbacks, dude, they should make that there every day. Those things are dope. And they got the D on the side with the Bronco coming through. I'm so excited, dude. I'm so excited to see
those. Brought me back to the Elway days immediately.
You had to be excited, dude.
Yeah, because you grew up a huge Broncos fan,
I did.
right?
Yeah, I mean,
dude, how weird is that? I grew up a huge Cleveland fan. We probably would have hated each other growing up.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
I'd have been talking so much shit about Elway and TD.
I used to. So my wife's from LA, right? She's from that area, and so she was a massive Chargers fan. And I used to dog the Chargers, right? Oh, Crybaby Rivers and like all that stuff. And of course, that's where I go, right?
Yeah.
And like immediately, my dad, I was like, we're Chargers fans now, Dad. And like, it took me all of 2 seconds to fall in love with Phillip Rivers. But like, I get like Facebook blasts from like this day 14 years ago, and it was me like, fuck you, Rivers, like just like going after it, right? And then like I went back through, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I grew up a massive Broncos fan. Like, I hated Brett Favre because he called John Elway pigeon-toed. Like, I remember all that stuff. Like, when Dad took me to all the Super Bowl parades on his shoulders, like the whole bit. Yeah, I was diehard Broncos fan.
Did you tell Phillip Rivers this? I'm assuming.
Absolutely not.
Oh, no. Come on, dude.
Dude, I was a rookie. As an undrafted free agent rookie,
hey,
what do you do? Walk
up
to
hate
year
you.
2.
I used to hate you.
God, I hated you so much. Not anymore. But back then,
well, I also used to think he used to cuss at everyone. Right? I used to think that he was out there dog cussing everyone. The dude never cusses.
No, ever.
Like him and Kirk Cousins, man. Just a lot of gall, darn it, dang it.
But
he's the original.
Dude, Phil would fire dudes up. And it wasn't like a, hey, F you. Like, he'd say stuff like, man, y'all put that blitz on tape? Y'all thought that was going to work? That was terrible. Like, I saw that coming from a mile away. That was atrocious. Dadgum, that's bad. right? Or he'd be like talking crap to the DNs, like that would him late be like, "Don't be touching me like that," and like we'd be like, "Phil, shh." Like it's just riling these dudes up, man. Like I think like the one came out where was it against Ngakoue?
Was it
right?
Philly?
Like,
Oh no, yeah,
5-yard touchdown, right? And he's just like walking next to him, just screaming it all the way through. Dude, Phil was the man. I loved Phil when I got with him, but I hated him growing up. Hated him.
had to.
Amazing, dude.
Yeah, dude. Shout out to the retros, man.
Throwing motion.
Yeah.
Hey, your other home
dude.
jerseys and away are crap, though. You got to get rid of those. It's dog. Just
I
terrible.
feel like I'm trying to think of other teams. I mean, well, give me the Oiler uniforms over anything Titans related. Give me the old
Hey,
Broncos.
creamsicle. Are you a creamsicle fan?
I am a creamsicle fan.
I am
yes.
too. I am for sure. I fuck with the creamsicle.
Do you?
Trying to think of what else.
I hate the Green Bay honeybee jerseys.
Oh, it's terrible. That and the Steelers,
stripes,
the Steelers honeybee. Oh, the worst.
They're
Hey,
so bad.
But they're
How
throwing
about
it back
the
to like the 1930s with those.
No.
so
Listen,
bad.
and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but how about Dallas when they wear those the blue and the white? They barely ever do it, dude. To me was
I like the all whites for Dallas too. The crispy all whites with just the giant star. Those are crispy.
Cool,
too.
man. Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, nothing like going out like, I look good today.
I still-
it's the worst when you used to wear the whites and knew you looked fat in it. I used to hate that. God, I
solid
fucking hate it.
colors for fat kids are not the move.
Dude, this is why the Ravens always had good offensive lines and defensive lines. They all feel they got the black on.
Dude, the
it's very
black makes you look
slimming,
sleek,
know?
dude. Oh yeah, the white makes you look bad, just bad.
And I'll plant my flag on this. The best jersey in the entire NFL is the LA Chargers powder blues.
Oh, I was just gonna tell you. I agree with you
far,
100%.
The best jersey is the powder blue Charger jersey. Like,
By far.
such a cool color. And I have my one. I'll never give that one away. That one's never getting given away.
Because they went to like a navy color for 15
Yeah.
years, right? In the
Yeah.
because
The
they
dark.
went to the Super Bowl and got smoked by the Niners. They had the
Yep,
kind of the dark, the navy
Dude,
when Rivers
powder
was drafted.
Blues, the powder blues are too clean.
Dude, I agree with that.
Okay, my mic. So we saw yesterday Zach Wilson was traded to the Broncos, to
Yes.
Jeremiah's childhood favorite team. Maybe he's going to wind up being your quarterback of the future under Sean Payton, huh?
That
I don't
quarterback
think
room,
so.
dude. Zach Wilson, Jared Stidham, Ben DiNucci, baby. Super Bowl, here we come.
Here we go.
Let's
Enter
go.
Bo
Maybe
Nix.
Throw Bo Nix in there.
Yeah,
You
why
guys-
not? What the hell?
Dude, the average age of that quarterback room's got to be like 24. Bo Nix might be the oldest one.
He probably is.
We brought some maturity in
How
for you
old-
guys.
Did-
we
what,
brought in a
DiNucci's
vet.
like
we brought in a
23.
vet for you guys.
Teach him.
But my question off this mic is, why is it? I mean, we just went through here's what we think. We're a bunch of football experts. We're gonna go and here's where the quarterback's gonna go. Why is it so hard to identify whether a quarterback is gonna be Pro Bowl caliber versus a complete unplayable bust like Zach Wilson? And I'm gonna bring you guys two different draft years, 2017 and 18, as great examples. So 2017. Mitch Trubisky was drafted 8 slots before Patrick Mahomes, and then Deshaun Watson, who was for the first few years before he got all massage happy,
Handsy.
clearly better than Mitch Trubisky, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
then the next year, here's the order of the first 6 quarterbacks: Baker Mayfield 1, Sam Darnold 3, Josh Allen 7th, Josh Rosen went 10th, and then Lamar
9.
Jackson went 32nd.
Yeah.
So, like, how is it that a Josh Rosen, or is it there's a lot of desperate franchises that draft a quarterback hoping to be saved, and they don't have the right infrastructure, and then that guy is just screwed because the Jets, you know? Like, why are we so bad at this after decades and decades is my question.
It's because it's kind of like I was saying about the Patriots and why everyone's like, well, you have to draft a quarterback. Yes, it's a quarterback league, and yes, you can't win in this league unless you have a dude back there as a trigger man. But the NFL on the offensive side is so much more than just the trigger man at times. Like, if you don't have weapons for him, I don't care how good he is, right? And I'm taking Mahomes out of this, right? He's the GOAT right now. He's the greatest. And like, you could give him like Tom Brady did for so many years. It didn't matter. But when you're talking about true rookie to second year quarterbacks, if you don't give them options and you don't give them weapons, they're not going to succeed.
Yeah.
It's just too hard. And also, I think a lot of it is if you're picking 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, your team's terrible. So that probably means your coaching staff's on its last legs. And so now you're going to get a guy in there that's going to be your guy, and then 2 years it doesn't work, and then you're bringing in a whole new system, a whole new staff. Guys are leaving in free agency because they don't want to be there anymore. It's hard to get top-notch talent. And now the guy's standing there going, I have nothing to do, and like I'm a talented player, but I can't do anything if I'm on my back all the time, or if my receivers aren't running the right routes, or guys aren't open. Like, it's such an imperfect science, but that's why I'm a fan. If you don't have the infrastructure laid for a young rookie quarterback to come in, don't bring one in. Don't bring one in. He's not going to have the success that you think he's going to have.
I would agree 100% with that. And two, just because the level of play is so different. The terminology is a lot, understanding defense is a lot, and you're asking guys to go out that have barely seen this, and then you're like, hey, you're running the whole show. Like, that's a lot to throw at them. And then you're like, hey, you got to hit this route at this time, and oh, hey, by the way, the tackle's going to give up a little pressure, and you got to move. Like, all these things get thrown at them. And then, like Jay said it, and I will say this. I think they're getting better, and Houston, in my opinion, is one of those examples. Like, they came in and they were like, hey, we got a new staff. We're going to go all in. And at the same time, they developed those guys. They went out and they took care of business. They put playmakers around him. They have a great offensive line, a great defense. Like, some of these guys get it. And at the same time, I think some teams don't. They just keep making the same errors, and they keep running the same offenses that don't work. And all of a sudden, you're like, dude, what the hell? I'll blame the quarterback. Blame the quarter. Or, like, dude, it's not always the quarterback's fault. I'm not saying that all those guys were bust, but they were put in some shitty situations at times, and they weren't given a lot of help. And at the same time, people are like, do something. And you're like, what can this guy do? He can't do everything. He can only throw the ball. He can't run the route. He can't block the defenders. Like, he can't do all these things. But I will say there are times, and maybe Jay and I see it a lot easier because we've been in these rooms, but you see the teams that are desperate for a quarterback and make a drastic move, and you're like, what the fuck was that about? Like, whoa, slow, buddy. I don't think he was going that high anyways. Like, calm your – and then 4 years later, so-and-so's been traded, and now he's a backup. Or 4 years later, he's cut and he's out of the league, and you're like, that team was desperate at the time, and they had no good coaching around that guy. They had nothing to help him or protect him or save him. You see it. You feel bad for him, but that's the league.
You also have to have a plan, right? Like, think about Josh Allen with Buffalo, right? Hey, we're going to take Josh Allen. We know our roster's not where it needs to be. We know we're paying LaShawn McCoy way too much money right now. We know that Kyle Williams is on his way out as a retiring guy. Like, we're old, but we want to get younger. So the plan is to draft Josh this year, be who we are, right? We're going to be 6-10, but then we're going to go get a Stephon Diggs, right? We're going to go find weapons for him. We're going to draft offensive talent. We have a left tackle that we hit on that's now a Pro Bowler player, right? Like, the plan has to be set and forth of, hey, we know we're not going to win right now, but we think we can win in 3-4 years. Versus sometimes I feel like these teams will look at it and be like, we just need to draft him and we're going to win games, right? Like, there's no forecasting of the final vision, right? Like, and that's one thing I commend Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane on, is they had a vision of, hey, through Josh's rookie contract, here's the steps we're going to take to put us in our Super Bowl window, and they did it. Right. And so many other teams, because the quarterback gets rattled as a rookie and he's never the same, right? Or whatever it may be, don't have that long-term vision, and then it blows up in your face.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, it's like, just going back to these two examples, I think it really comes down to, let's look at 2017. Are you desperately trying to find a quarterback that can save your shitty situation? Kind of like Boone was saying, oh boy, that's a stretch. Now, Trubisky was talented in college, but the Bears are just perpetually looking for a quarterback to save their crappy offense decade after decade. The Chiefs, 8 picks later, said, well, actually, the Chiefs moved up 17 picks to get to the 10th pick. They were an 11-win team, playoffs almost every year for the better part of a couple decades. Andy Reid, they got Alex Smith as a good professional, steady quarterback. We don't need Patrick Mahomes to save our garbage franchise, but super talented. Let's bring him in. Doesn't even have to play for a year. He can just sit down. And you got Travis Kelce, you got Tyreek Hill, you got weapons all over the place. Same thing for the 2018 draft. Sam Darnold, classic example, dude. Like, it's amazing when you dig on just how bad that Jet situation was. So he gets drafted, rookie year, Todd Bowles is his head coach, who's found a way to win some games in Tampa now, but like, first-time coach, defensive-minded guy. So the offensive coordinator is going to be integral to developing Sam Darnold, right? The offensive coordinator's name is Jeremy Bates. He was fired immediately after that season at age 41, so a young offensive coordinator. He's been out of football entirely since that season. Okay? Whew. So we're firing Todd Bowles, firing off. Year number 2. Let's try this again, okay? Head coach Adam Gase, who got fired a short while later, has been out of the NFL since that firing. And then the offensive coordinator was a guy named Dwell Logans, who's been out of the NFL since that job, became the tight ends coach at Arkansas afterwards. And by the way, Sam Darnold's number 1 weapon the first 2 years in terms of targets was a guy named Robbie Chosen.
Yeah.
So
I remember that.
So what in an alternate universe, if he gets drafted by a different franchise, by Andy Reid and the Chiefs or something, right? Or does Sam Darnold become a top 8 quarterback in the NFL? Or was it just a garbage franchise looking to save?
It's the exact same argument you can have of Bryce Young, CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a great point.
Garbage situation.
It's like, hey, Bryce Young got taken ahead of CJ Stroud. And that's why everyone this year was like, oh, Panthers should have taken Stroud. Stroud has equally, if not even a worse year than Bryce Young had. Because, hey, we're going to take this quarterback. We've fired all of our guys. We've fired everyone twice now. We don't know who his number 1 receiver is. We traded him away. We traded the best running back in the country or in the world. We traded him away. We have a left tackle we drafted that's a rookie going into his second year. We have one really solid right tackle. We have a undrafted free agent or a 4th-round pick, starting at left guard as a rookie. And, hey, go win us some football games.
And guess what people say, dude?
Work that in the NFL.
And people say, "Oh, Bryce Young's garbage," or "Sam Darnold's garbage." It's like, well,
doesn't work like that.
Okay,
we agree
this
100%.
It's a cooking show, and the 3 of us get to go on. It's Top Chef, and the ingredients you guys get are some Wagyu beef, some asparagus, some hot, and they give me like a 9 iron and some ice cubes.
Yeah, a can of Spam.
Literally, it's not fair.
Go cook a meal.
Dude, remember when they fired the coaches and everyone was tweeting at the team and the coaches are like, we've been fired. What are you yelling at us for? Like, we're not even here anymore. And everybody was like, wow, they really did. Like, imagine being Bryce Young going in and being like, yeah, all these guys are fired. We're going to make that guy's in charge now. You, come here. What's your name? Tell everybody your name. Here we go. Like, that's how they do it. And then everyone's like, I kind of deal with this at football sometimes with the boys and even at baseball now. And people are like, well, Bryce Young's shit. And you're like, you're an idiot. You're 12 and you have no idea what you're talking about. That poor kid got hit every which fucking way. What do you know? Could you make that throw? Could you think you could stand under that pressure and make that throw? No, shut up. Don't ever say that again. Like,
no one's
they just
open.
Don't get it. They don't
no
understand.
run
Like,
game.
I've been in rooms where the offense gets talked about and you're like, this is fucking stupid. There's zero chance anyone's going to understand this. And you want this young kid to do, you want this kid to go out here and do that. This is, we're fucked. There's no way we're going to make it out of this one alive. Sometimes they're just putting these kids in impossible situations instead of doing what Houston did and said, hey, we're going to rely on our run game. We're going to max protect as much as we can. We're going to tell our offensive line, if you fuck up, we're going to pull you out. Like, you have to keep guys like that super secure, especially like Jay said. You only get one chance to go in the league. And if you mess it up right away, dude, the haunting that goes through these guys' mind is ridiculous because the windows close so fast and all of a sudden you're going to get hit. And all of a sudden it's like, dude, if you can't do it right, people are yelling at you.
You get rattled.
I'm yelling at you. Jay's yelling at you. Everyone's like, dude, what are we doing? Let's go. And they're like, oh, man, this is just, whoa. And you're like, shut up, stop thinking, and let's just go. Like, we've had rookies come in the game and play with us, and it's like, this is going to be a mess. You just call the play.
It doesn't have to be a rookie. Like,
we'll do everything else.
Like,
yeah.
Even the backups. We talked about this on the show a couple weeks ago. There's probably 20 true starting quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
Right? Then there's 12 guys that are serviceable. We're like 20 true guys that are like, you're the one of the top 20 in the world that do this. And to ask a rookie to come in and step into that 20 realm is so hard and so rare, right? Even Anthony Richardson, like, yeah, first few games, we're like, this is awesome. But I remember I think on the show, we are like, he's going to get hurt.
Oh, yeah, we told him slide.
Like,
slide, dude.
You can't run over these dudes in this league. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't live in that world. And, he's going to get dinged. And then Will Levis, I mean, even go back to, who was the guy that Tennessee drafted 2 years ago?
Malik Willis.
Malik Willis.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
out of
these
Liberty,
dudes
right?
sometimes just don't work. Like, it's just the circumstance. Sometimes maybe their skill set's completely tapped out in college and you think they have some more in there and they can't because we start throwing more on their plate, then the skill level goes down. Like, there is no perfect science to picking a quarterback. There really isn't. But I'd say 80% of it is their skill set. That other 20% of it is the situation in which they come in. And that 20% can spiral out of control extremely quickly.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So, yeah, man, too bad. So Sam Darnold, I guess. Sorry that happened to you, but maybe you can still
comeback year. Comeback.
It could be a Baker Mayfield year for him.
Comeback year for Sam.
Where is
Darnold.
he? He's in Minnesota, right?
Minnesota,
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
if you can't make it work, like if you can't make it with Justin Jefferson and Addison and Hawk when he comes back healthy.
What are you talking about?
Like,
He's going to be behind
and you now
JJ.
have-
This guy. He's not even with the draft.
Just die.
Stop.
He's starting. I will plant the flag. I will plant the flag right now. Steak and a beer. Sam Darnold's the week 1 starter for the Minnesota
Oh,
Vikings.
I agree.
Oh,
I agree with that. Week 1.
Oh, really?
I'm with Jay.
Oh,
Week
I'm
1.
staking a beer all the way. Let's
You don't
go.
think so? You think the
call
rookie? You
Manny's.
think the rookie's gonna start?
Oh, I'm taking rookie all the way.
You with me, Mac?
I'm
I
with
just
you, Jay.
warned you. Time out. I just warned you. If you have
Flag
weapons and you have an O line,
Flag
watch
planted.
out
Flag
because
planted.
sometimes
In
those
fact,
young
wait.
kids will scare you.
I'll stake in a beer. I'll one up you. Stake in a beer. Okay. Sam Darnold has a career high passer rating, regardless of how many games he plays. It could
Ding
be
him
5
for
games,
being an idiot.
Could be 6.
That's a stupid fucking rookie fine. That's a stupid fucking rookie fine.
Agree with you, Mac. I agree with you. I'm with you, Mac. I'm with you.
All right, here we go. I got 2
Darnold
dinners
has a
coming.
career year.
Jefferson.
I think Darnold has a career year.
In
Listen,
fact,
I heard
would
about
you-
this
are
new
you-
place downtown called Porzana. I want one of those dinners is going to be there, and I'm not sure where the other one's going to be. But I've heard
2
Porzana's
words.
amazing.
Argentinian steak.
I'm in.
You haven't lived.
Say one word. Steak. Say less. Right? Steak. I'm there.
Steak.
Week 1, baby. Saying it. Sam Darnold starting for the Vikings.
Okay.
Boys, it's time for some dumb football questions here on the podcast. We also, after dumb football questions, we are going to record a second episode for you this week. So you're going to have the delight of 2 different O-Line Committee podcast episodes here. So in addition to supporting our friends at aura.com/O-Line Committee, if you could also click the like button and the subscribe button on the YouTube channel here, you can help us climb our way to 20,000 subs. We didn't think we were going to get to 20,000 in the first year, and so we're hoping to get there. So thank you guys, and go tell a few of your football-loving friends that the O-Line Committee is a thing that exists. So, okay, dumb football questions. You can always submit via the YouTube comment section. I love this one. From Sealight939. After watching Bull Durham, the bus scene where Kevin Costner practices his interview answers, I began to wonder how players learn to talk to the media, whether it be at the podium, on the field, in the locker room. Is there a program given by the league or a team, or is it learned at some point in your career how to talk to the media?
Go ahead, Jay.
Well, so ideally you start in college, right? In college, ideally your college kind of preps you for how to speak to the media. And there's always 2 big things that you never speak to the media about. You never speak of the performance of another one of your teammates, and you never speak about injuries. Right? Those are the 2 first
Unless your
thing-
teamite performed positively, right? You
Yes,
can,
negatively.
You can,
You speak negatively, right? You never speak
Okay.
negatively of another teammate, and you never talk about an injury. Ever. Right? And those are day 1 you walk in, and the coach looks at you now like, you do any of this, I'll kill you. Right?
Seriously.
Done.
They
Seriously,
will.
that is day 1 install of
You'll
speak
get
to
cut.
the media.
You get cut.
and you know what?
quick.
On
Do
this
not
side of the
speak.
fence, you know what we want to know about?
Injuries and
Your
negative
injury,
performances.
and
You
this
don't
is this
say.
guy that sucks over here. Yeah.
You don't say. I know.
Yeah, and then from there on, it's more everyone's different, right? Everyone has a different feel to it, but you really just want to be yourself, and that's the way I coach my guys and all my guys. Be like, listen, you just want to be yourself. You want to give them an authentic version of you, and it's for twofold. One, you develop trust with the reporters, right? And you'll be able to weed out the ones that you don't like, and the ones that you have in your phone is do not answer, and the ones that you're willing to talk to, right? But then,
Why do you give your number to reporters? Because
We don't.
They get
The team
it. They
does.
get it. Yeah,
The
they
team
can get
gives it to them.
They'll be the ones hey, I want to do a quick phone interview with so and so. Oh, okay, and then they'll be text you hey,
Just
get
call
yeah,
them at
sure,
this-
and they're oh, call them at this hour.
Blocked.
Then it's locked in,
Blocked.
right? You guys are weasels, and so that's kind of step 1, be yourself, and then it's really just a lot of being a mature adult and understanding to keep your emotions in check. Understanding that if you don't know the answer to a question, it's a lot easier to say, hey, I don't know, instead of trying to bullshit your way through an answer and get yourself in trouble, right? Those are just kind of simple things that I talk about with my clients going into the NFL, how to handle the media, but majority of that stuff's handled in college pretty well.
Yeah.
Alex?
when you were a media darling, man. I mean, you were doing radio hits in San Francisco.
I
That's
had
how we
fun.
met in Minneapolis. You met.
I had a lot
on
of
our-
fun. I did. I was just myself all the time. And honestly, I was really nervous when I came here because I called my agent. And I was like, dude, should I tone it back? And they were like, no, man, you got to be Booney. Booney's Booney. Be cool. And it really was fun. I think there was a lot of guys now, especially that take it to a political place that you're just they're so just the same answer all the time that you're like, all right, this is just so not fun. And even for like us as players, like I love when the guys would be super themselves or super original and like have fun with the media. At times, I probably jabbed the media a lot because I knew that they were coming for some of my teammates, and I would see them from afar, and I'd be like, all right, I got this guy. Like, there was a couple times in Frisco, me and Kawakami went at it, and it was one of those, like, I see you coming over there, and I'm going to throw one back in your direction, a fucking big dart. And the team would come to me and be like, stop. And I'd be like, no, I'm not going to stop. I'll stop when he stops. And they were like, dude, don't do this.
But he's not going to stop because he's going to be
That's the
doing
problem
this
is,
for
and I'm
50
not
years.
either. You know me. I'm just going to keep going with you. I'll go down all these roads, but for the most part, I just like to have fun with it. Like, why be so serious, right? We're out there getting our asses kicked the entire day. I'm getting the shit kicked out of me. I got coaches yelling at me left and right. I'm coming home. I got 4 kids yelling at me, a wife. Like, if I can't be funny and original, who the fuck is? Like, God, everyone's just so serious, and I don't understand it anymore. It's 2024. Like, coaches at some point were like, all right, I get it. It's okay to be funny. Like, there was a time when it was, like, never fun. Yes, coach, get it, totally understand. Like, I'm here to learn from you. Like, now it's like, dude, you can have a personality. You can be yourself. It's okay to be goofy and funny and make people laugh. But
remember the Titans? Zero fun,
sir.
Yes.
Dude, I remember young in my career, guys would bring up like some of their hobbies, and coaches around us would be like, shut up, football's your hobby. And you'd be like, yes, sir, football's
Yes.
my hobby.
Zero fun.
Yeah,
sir.
you're like, okay,
Yes.
I do live a life outside of this for 6 months.
That's why so many guys wanted to get out of the Patriots, because the Patriots were a whole different level under the Belichick regime, like even 10 years ago.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
it's like you
Kyle Praja.
you did not speak to the, like, you do not speak unless spoken to. Like, if you talk to the media, like, here's your script, you deviate from the script, you're done, you're out of here. Like, there was a lot of guys that wanted out of New England just because they felt like they were a prisoner.
Dude,
They're like, I can't do this anymore. I got to get out of here, or else I'm going to go crazy.
I will say this, though. There have been times where an innocent conversation with somebody could turn a team into total dismay because you have 2 guys going at it. Somebody accidentally said something, probably threw somebody under the bus, didn't mean to, and then all of a sudden the team has to make a decision. And you're like, I don't want to make a decision, dude. It was an accident. He didn't mean to say it. And they're like, me or him? Like, no, man, don't do this. We are like right in the middle of the season. We are so close to being what we want. Me or him, motherfucker. And you're like, you know, I love you. You know how I was always
That
like,
happens.
it's you, baby. It's you.
That definitely happens.
Oh, for sure. It's terrible.
But you can also, if you do it the right way and you have fun, and you can build a nice profile for a career in media or a career doing something else after you're done. Get to know
That's
people.
why guys are doing it
connections
too. They're trying to show that they have personality while they play, so that when they're done, all of a sudden they can just jump right into it, which is a great thought. And it's funny because, and I won't name any names. I'm not going to Jose Canseco anybody. But I remember being very young, sitting at the table, and we were watching a show, and it was a Saturday morning, and everybody was like making fun of all the hosts. And they were like, Boone, you see those guys? They're broke. That's why they're doing this. And I was like, okay, got it. They were like, you don't ever want to do this. And I was like, got it. Don't ever want to do this. And then like 5 years later, I was like, but wait a minute. Those guys are making millions of dollars. They're not broke. They're just, they're making more millions. Like, I don't understand. And the guys were like, yeah, scratch that. Never mind. This is where it's going. So like, everybody was instantly like, yeah, I want to do that. Like, dude, you get to hang out with the guys and make millions still and do nothing.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's do a lot of that.
Nobody wants to hear from a punter. Well, Pat McAfee just signed another $50 million a year deal with DraftKings. So
I mean, who would have thought a punter? A punter. I couldn't picture Andy Lee like just going up there and gibble-gabbling a whole bunch all day. Like, I'd be like, this is no way this is going to make it. But yeah, seriously. Like, you don't see those guys ever. And I'm not going to lie to you, that was my biggest pet peeve. And I told them all the time, I respect you guys. I couldn't do what you do, and I don't ask to do what you do. But goddamn it, could you just stay past noon? And they look at you and be like, tea time's at 12:15, stupid. God damn it. What are you hitting these days, by the way?
Scratch.
Oh,
By
they're
the
like
way,
scratch all day.
speaking of golf, a couple comments from last week's show here. We're going to mix into dumb football questions.
The Masters. We have to
This
talk about
one's
the
from
Masters.
CK9292. I'm with Boone on golf. Yawn. Hell, baseball bores me to death. I'd rather watch
Easy.
F1 racing, marathon running, curling, and bowling than
Big
golf
F1.
or
Curling.
baseball.
Hey, curling is
close.
so fun to watch.
F1's where it's at. I'm so bought into F1.
You're in.
Like,
Did the Netflix series hook you, or
yes.
were you in before?
Hook,
that?
line,
Okay.
and sinker, dude. I mean,
What's
if
the
it's
series? Tell me.
dude,
it's like the quarterback one, but for
they do it for
F1 drivers.
Drive to Survive.
They do it for golf too, by the way, which will get you hooked.
I mean, I watched that first season and I was hooked ever since. Like I will stay up if the race is on at like 2 a.m. I will stay up and watch the race.
Really?
Like if it's up at 4 a.m., I will wake up early and I will.
What's
watch
so
the race.
exciting about it,
dude? These dudes are taking corners at like 180 miles an hour and
Really?
just flying. And like the science and the drama between the drivers, like I didn't realize like you're teammates, but you hate each other.
Yeah.
Right. Because like there's 2 drivers per team. Right.
Right.
But like the slower driver always gets fired. And so they don't like each other, and like they'll race each other, and they get after each other, and then like everyone's kind of hops between teams. Like there's not a lot of like new blood. It's like, oh, he drove for McLaren for 8 years. Well, now he drives for Mercedes, right? It's like, oh, now Mercedes is going to Ferrari. Like,
Do you have a guy? Is it Max Verstappen?
It's Max Verstappen.
Is it? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Who's he drive
Max
for?
Verstappen. Red Bull Racing.
Red Bull.
Should be
Yeah,
Alex's
Red Bull.
guy. Is there a monster
No,
racing?
I'm not a
guy?
Red Bull
Red
guy.
Bull.
Is there a
Red Bull.
monster car? If there's a monster car, I'll watch.
There is a NASCAR, right?
I'm sure there is. I tried to get into the NASCAR documentary. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
So, dude, when I was a kid, my uncle used to race stock cars in La Crosse, Wisconsin. So we go to the races all the time. Came from kind of a racing family. Dale Earnhardt was legitimately my favorite athlete as a kid. Like I watched every race. He freaking died in a crash at the Daytona 500 in 2001, was it?
Mm-hmm.
I was devastated. And I have not watched NASCAR basically since Dale Earnhardt died at the Daytona 500.
Dude, Senior was the
There was a
man.
time.
Yeah.
There's no question.
But no, I'm all in on the F1. But also, Scotty Scheffler wins again this weekend. RBC Heritage, just in dominant fashion. 4 out of the last 5.
And nobody's listening or cares.
It's the best run, I think, since Tiger Woods about 20 years ago.
100%.
Right? There's been a couple of
His caddies made over like 1.4 million this year. Sign
How
me up for
about
that.
Just carry those back. Scotty, 5 iron, 4. Sounds good. Here we go.
9 iron, huh? Well, you're fired.
You're fired.
Moving
okay.
on before Alex kills himself.
Here's one to
Getting
pump
close.
Alex's tires. This is from Christopher Moe here. Regarding Alex Boone, who was a little sad when we brought up that, Vikings fans were kind of, is he a bust back in the day,
Wasn't
So
a
Christopher Moe says, speaking for Vikings fans, Alex Boone is awesome. He's
Thank
great
you.
on Purple Daily. He's great on O-line committee. He lives in Minnesota, raises his family in Minnesota. Pretty sure he is welcome anywhere. I just hope to meet him one day and ask him if he ever played basketball.
Why basketball?
Because you're tall.
Oh,
You ever play basketball?
I get that all the
You
time.
basketball
It drives
player,
me
yeah.
nuts.
That's what he
Do
said.
you play basketball? Is it the knees? Is it because they're so skinny? The legs? Is that why you think I play?
The legs are
No,
so
I played a
tall.
full contact sport, hon. I apologize.
Hey, I do think at one point in time, though, Mackie, in the next year, I'm going to put this out there. We need to do a live show somewhere in Minnesota.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Me and Mackie have already been talking about
O-line
it.
committee live show somewhere. Maybe.
Welcome some people in.
Yeah, for sure. I'm all about
Kowalski's?
that. Let's
You wanna do it with the Kowalski's deli?
With the
Yeah,
the
pie?
produce
With the
section.
pie?
Dude,
Yeah.
don't. I went and got one the other day. Oh, so good.
What
So
flavor?
addicted.
Blueberry.
Blueberry. Not
All right, we got room for no more question, right? Couple
Come on
more
now, one
questions?
more,
Yeah,
one more.
I'll give you probably a couple more. Steve Kober says, I want to know if Alex and Jeremiah were tight when they played together in the NFL, or if
What a
their
stupid
friendship
fucking
formed
question that was. That was the. We were. Dude,
Sorry, Steve.
we
Sorry,
were.
Steve.
Steve, we were
Steve.
fucking boys. Like, there was nobody that I went to other than Jay. Like, hey, we got a problem. We got a real fucking problem. Like, I didn't go to anybody else. If Tony came to me, I'd be like, Jay, we got problems. Right now, we got to figure this out. Jay was the ledger keeper. Dude, we were besties. I love playing next to him. I had a blast.
Yeah, I mean, for me, so like when they first signed Alex, like I was.
Do you remember where we first met?
It was in the
Parking
hotel.
lot
Yeah, the parking
at
lot
the
of hotel.
suites. You
Yeah.
walked over, you were like, hey, I'm Jeremiah. I was like, what's up, man? I'm Boone. We instantly were like, oh, we're going to be friends. For
Well,
sure.
because initially I was hoping, like, for me going into the year, I thought I had a chance to compete for the left guard spot before they signed Alex, right? And so then once they signed Alex to come in, and I was like, well, he's going to be the left guard. Like, I kind of changed my thinking of like, okay, well, I'm not obviously going to beat out a guy they just paid $26 million. I was like, but I want to be the $26 million guy at one point, so I'm going to attach myself to him. Right, and that was my thought process going into the OTAs process. I didn't know who Alex was. I know I watched him on tape, and I tried because I always went when I moved to guard, I went in the league and started watching tall guards. Right, I was like, okay, I'm a tall guard. Right, I'm not a 6'2" guard. Like I'm a 6'6" guard, and so I started watching guys. And Alex was a guy that I actually watched a lot because he was a taller guy. And then we instantly hit it off. our wives became friends, and then we just kind of ran from there and became lifting partners at 6 a.m., the whole bit there. So, yeah, we became really close over those 2 years for sure.
For sure.
Bromance
What was your first date? What was your first date?
Osaka.
Osaka, for
Osaka,
sure.
right
We used to go to Osaka.
right behind the country. What was it? The Country Inn and Suites.
We
Quality
would just
Inn
walk
Suites.
right over and
Just
be like,
walk across the street to Osaka. Double fried rice, double chicken, double steak. Just load it up. Get the yum yum sauce.
and then we go back and play Xbox.
Then we go back and play Call of Duty for the rest of the
Dude,
day.
the worst was, check this out. Like, so this is how silly.
Which I
this
was
is.
the best at, by the way.
Sometimes life is just silly,
Self-suck.
and like,
That's a self-suck.
Do it.
I'll take that.
so when I signed, I came here, right? And they were like, hey, we're just going to do OTAs. And I remember at the time I had to come to OTAs because they were like, if you ever don't show up, they put it in my contract. If you ever don't show up for something, your contract will completely void. And so I was like, oh
wow,
God.
there it is.
So I had to be
He held
there.
out, remember?
Yeah. So I had to be there. And so I remember showing up and I signed and we just worked out for like an hour. And I was like, well, now what? And everyone's like, well, let's just go back. I was like, and do what? And they're like, let's go to Osaka. We'll play fucking Xbox. I was like, oh, this is amazing. So my wife would call me, be like, what are you doing? I'd be like, oh, I'm in a meeting. I'm like, we're meeting about the offense. We'd be like, I'm not even kidding you, every day. And
Totally different playbook, honey. Got to learn the whole thing.
Then she came up like 2 months in and she brought the whole fam. And I was like, everybody be cool, right? Like and so she was like, man, you guys have a lot of off time. And I was like, oh shit, she knows. Like, she's like, what have you been doing? And I was like, hanging out. Playing Xbox. Like, seriously, you just hit free agency, you signed the contract you've always wanted, and you're like, what do you do? I go to Osaka and play Xbox. I don't really do much. I mean, like, there's just because there's not a lot to do.
Dude,
and
we had a crew. Like,
we had
literally, it was like everyone in the hotel.
Yep.
Like, we'd all get home from OTAs. My wife was there. She hated that we all got on Xbox.
Oh, yeah.
She was working from home at the time, and she used to, because we get wild and say stupid shit, and like
Gosh,
literally, like
Emma's
we'd all be
working.
we'd play from like noon to 5, and then we'd be like, all right, where are we going to eat? Going to Osaka? Or are we going to go over to the what was that, the Red Lion? Oh God, no.
Redstone?
Redstone.
Yeah, we can go get some
Yeah.
buffalo shrimp from Redstone. Like, we just, and then
Dude.
and that was just repeat for 10
Every
weeks.
day. And then
10
not only that,
weeks.
but remember, and then at night we'd be like, where are we going? Cowboy Jacks? Cowboy
Yeah,
Slims.
it's
And then it was like
Cowboy Slims.
every night we were just, dude, it was, we
It
had
was
so
fun.
much fun.
We had a lot of fun.
It doesn't make any sense to me sometimes, like how much fun we had. And then all of a sudden, we all just got the shit kicked out of us.
Yeah, it was like, oh, that wasn't as much fun.
That wasn't as much fun as we thought it would be. Boy, we started the year strong though, didn't we?
And then
we did.
And then week 7 happens. And,
Dude, week 7.
Philly.
How about preseason
Philly.
week 1? We were like, we're fucked. We got a lot of guys dropping quickly.
Yeah. Once
When we
Teddy
lost
was
Phil,
there-
I was really upset.
Yeah,
when we
when we
lost
lost
Phil,
Phil, that hurt.
I was like, we're screwed. And then we lost Khalil, and I was like, we're really screwed.
Wait, was
and
that
then we
Phil,
lost Teddy.
Phil Loadhold?
load hold. Yeah.
Oh,
We lost Phil in
Achilles.
OTAs.
Blew his Achilles.
No,
right?
he
No,
came
his
back
quad.
from the Achilles and blew his quad.
Yep.
Oh.
Thank you, Brent Salazar. Great strength
But
coach
now
that
he's
we
the head
have.
coach. He's the O-line coach at CU now. Phil Loadhold is.
Oh yeah,
I saw
Phil.
that, yeah. He's
Love
great.
Phil.
For Dion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
What?
the O-line coach
Yep.
for Dion.
He was at Oklahoma before, dude. We loved Phil. You want to talk about a guy? We're gonna bring him on
Phil,
eventually.
yeah, Phil.
We
Phil'd be a
have
great
to bring him
guest.
on.
He'd be
Yeah,
great.
dude. He I
was
remember he
hilarious.
came in. Dude, the Vikings had Phil Loadhold and Bryant McKinney as their bookend
Yeah.
Massive.
tackles for a couple
Massive.
years.
Massive dudes.
6'9", just ridiculous.
Phil and I were at the
Phil's
combine
awesome.
together. It's great.
Those are your dumb football questions here. Yeah, keep submitting. Send them into the YouTube comments. We try to get to a few every single week here. So, and keep an eye out for a little bonus episode as we go through juicy pre-draft rumors on
Schefter.
the O-line committee. Schefter checking with his sources. See you guys.